Hi everybody and welcome to the 84th Town Hall on the 14th of March 2022. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope that you get some great updates from the team. So first up, we are going to head to PeopleOps, and Monica will give us an update from PeopleOps. Over to you, Monica.
Thank you. So today's update is going to be focused on giving a shout out and a highlight to our new contributors and the contributors that have been contributing to Status for a while now. First of all, Jacek has been contributing to the research team, leading the research team, including projects like NEEM or BAC for 4 years. Then we have Andrea, who's been leading the mobile project. We also have Andrea Frank, two Andreas in the team, who's been contributing to a few projects, Status Core, Keycard, and now he's transitioning to Status, the broader Status network. Then we have Eugene and Jordan, both from the Nimbus team, Rachel from Finance Operations, and Frank, who's been leading the Waco project. Then we will welcome Elena, Michelle, Stefan to the desktop project, and others to the mobile project.
Thanks, Monica. Next up, Angel, would you please be able to give us an update on what the fabulous talent team is doing on hiring?
Yes, for sure. So yeah, like it shows, we've had gonna have a really busy year this year. We're going to be doubling. So we've hired 7 people across the team so far, and we've still got a few outstanding offers and a lot of final interviews happening. So hopefully within the next sort of 15, 16 days we've got left of the month, we can add a few more contributors to each team. Can you switch to the next slide, please? So we've got quite a few positions still open. They're across communications director for the network state. We've got creative strategist for branding, software developer and test for desktop. We got more software engineers for NIM, and for VAC we're hiring production engineers and blockchain engineers. And then for mobile we're hiring a closure UI. For Codex we've got several researchers and a networking engineer. And then for the consensus team, a maths researcher focusing on probability and complex systems. So there's a lot of positions. So yeah, if the communities or anyone watching and the teams can all help with letting us know any specific areas or platforms we can focus on to hire more brilliant people, that would be awesome.
Thanks, Angel. And as always, I know Angel normally mentions we do run the referral program, so any referrals are very welcome. Next up, we're going to listen to Andrea on the mobile team for your update. So over to you, please.
Thank you, Terry. So the last weeks we've been working on a few things. So we've been working on Wallet Connect integrations, both 1 and 2, and that's going to be released in the next release, but it's going to be toggled off because we haven't finished with all the tasks that we wanted to finish before releasing it proper. We have also been working a lot on syncing and backup. And we had a remote Android notification as an option in addition to the local notification that we have, the decentralized notifications. We are still working on 1.19 as it has been slightly delayed because we're still trying to finish off a few things, one related to syncing with mail servers and one related to syncing and backups, and we really want them to get it in. Hopefully we're going to be cutting a release branch this week. Next, we're going to be working, we just started the work on the app redesign. So that's something that is going to be ongoing. So we'll have to basically like re-implement many of the screens and just to give it a fresh look and add some new features. And we keep working on other features that we've been working before, like for example, mutual content request, and we'll keep working on performance as always. And that's all from mobile. Thank you very much, Terry, back to you.
Thank you, Andrea. That sounds super exciting with the app redesign. Can't wait to see some updates on that going forward. Next up, we're going to hear from Yuri from Desktop. So over to you, Yuri.
All right. So Waco V2, it's something we've been working to get it on desktop, and and as well as mobile. And our plan is the next release to have it by default as the main as the default protocol. And we're about to do some more testing with this before we can actually do that release. Then the C++ app, so again, it's currently sort of a side project, but we're trying to make sure we get everything right. So that was a POC for the wallet, and the base of it was restructured to make sure everyone is happy with it and is a type of architecture we can build from. Now, some very exciting features we got now in the next release. That should be the display names. So this effectively replaces the 3-word usernames, so people can set up their own names. And this also includes some identity features such as a emoji hash. So everyone gets their own sequence of emojis that uniquely identifies them. There's also the rainbow ring, which is this ring around the profile that identifies that profile uniquely. And we also have been working a lot on this new onboarding screens, so improving the onboarding process, also making it a bit nicer with, there's some neat animations. We're also working, say, on a password strengthener indicator, so it's, the user can get some good passwords, integrate better with features like Touch ID. So a lot of these features we had, but the new designs are much nicer, and we're working integrating that. We also have been working on a lot of new setting screens from the wallet, from the chat browser, and so on. And we also added multi-network support to the wallet on the client side as well. This currently hidden with a toggle, but it's something we're actively experimenting with currently, and this is part of the new wallet work. And something I forgot to say in other tone holes that we also, this Pascal is working on this long-term community history fetching, so we can support more than 30 days and without relying on mail servers, so users can get the history for whatever community they are on. Then next, we still have there's a lot of new designs, so there's a lot more to do in those onboarding screens as well as setting screens. There's the identity verification work is currently ongoing, and that's kind of needed because if anyone can then set their own display names, we need a way for people to verify the other person is who they say they are. We should also resume the keycard integration. And again, there's going to be other new community features that we're going to be working on, and as well as continuing the work on the wallet redesigns and new features that it has. And yeah, back to you, Terry.
Thanks very much for those updates, Yuri. I'm sure the community really enjoyed listening to those. Next up, we are going to hear from Alec, who's going to give us some data and some graphs on our growth and retention. So over to you, Alec.
Thank you, Terry. Hello, everyone. Like always, let's start with app installs. So far this year, we have had over 375,000 app installs, or a little over 5,000 app installs per day. Almost half of all those app installs, so little over 180,000 occurred after our last town hall. In this period, 23% of app installs came from Algeria, 11% from Mali, and 6% from Brazil. In recent weeks, we have observed an increased interest in our application in Africa, which is very interesting. Let's move to the next slide. Installed audience. This chart is limited to Google Play users only. It shows a number of people with the app on their device. So once again, we reached 600,000 users. In week 10 of last year, we had approximately 4,400,000 users. So that's an increase of 36% year on year. Let's see on the next slide where these users are coming from. So over 9% from Mali, almost 7.5% from Algeria, over 5.5 from Brazil. Right now, almost 37% and steadily increasing of users come from Africa, little over 24% from Asia, and almost 19.5% from South America. So I think it's safe to say that in terms of users, we are growing fairly steadily in Africa and Asia. Let's move on to the next slide. Daily active users. More or less, we are around 13,000 daily active users, especially in the last few weeks. Obviously, the goal is to keep increasing this metric, or at least to remain this value. And yeah, so it's good. So far, it's good. Let's see on the next slide how many peers do we get from 13,000 daily active users. And as you can see, in the last 4 weeks, so since our last town hall, we have been having on average over 6,000 daily peers. Of course, the more the better. Although this rapid increase in week 7 doesn't really look organic. And as a matter of fact, in the last 3 days, daily peers went down to around 3,000, which seems natural. Okay, and now let's go to the summary on the next slide. So things to remember. Over 375,000 app installs, or little over 5,000 app installs per day. Over 600,000 users with app on their devices. On average, 10,000 daily active users, but recently around 13,000 daily active users, and on average about 4,000 daily active peers. That's all from me. Thank you for your attention, and back to you, Terry.
Thank you very much, Alec, for that useful information and the graphs. It's really nice to see the visual graphs there, to see the numbers. So thank you. Next up, we are going to hear from Fred and Jacob from Security and Infrastructure. So I believe it's Fred up first.
Hey, everybody. So this month, business as usual, like few interesting hacker reports, also work on some product feature, also work on the team multi-sig governance and setup. We talked with a few team about it already. Your opinion is welcome. Don't hesitate to ping me. Also approach on our risk management, how we can optimize it. And here the same, your opinion is welcome. This year, like since the beginning, we've wanted to focus a little bit more on core contributor security. So in the last 2 or 3 months, we've been having security touch point with newcomer. We learned a bunch of things and what they need the most. So this year, we're going to do a multi-sig learn up series. And the first one will be in 10 days. So if you don't know much about multi-sig, you're non-tech, you're really welcome, because this is a good way to get started with it. So it's going to be no dumb questions. So please join us. Also, we had some feedback, but if there is more educational content that you would want in terms of security, so your opinion is welcome here again. So we had some about mobile phone setup, also workstation. If you need anything about YubiKeys or any other subject, please come to us. Also be aware of the username takeover, especially with GitHub. So when as a core contributor register a GitHub username and then change it, and if you don't update it, then they can be taken over. And we have a bunch of hackers that always come to us saying that they took over some of our usernames. So be aware of that. Also, we are working on the offboarding security and how we can optimize it. Finally, we're still recruiting for an infrastructure security engineer. So if you are interested or know anybody, don't hesitate to apply. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Fred. Much appreciated. Over to you, Jacob.
Hey, people. I finally got the next upgrade ready for the mobile application. It was a bit painful, but I fixed the sandboxing issues. I fixed the macOS temporary directory issues. It's ready. It's just waiting for the mobile release to come out. So we don't want to mess with dev setups right before the release is going to be cut. We have a Squish license server for desktop tests. I know the worker has already started on developing the new tests for desktop, so that's going to be an improvement to the stability of the UI. We have a Boris instance of our own. Right now it just works for JS Waku, but if you're interested in some automation for merging PRs and similar, reach out to me. We have a new Git hook for status go version updates in mobile. So you might see if you have updated the status go version, you will get injected with a role for the diff between the old and the new version of status go. So please don't remove that. That's useful for QA to track down issues that might have been caused by changes in status go. We have added OpenC API keys for both mobile and desktop, so the issues with OpenC API should go away soon. And there's also a new Docker image with some extra Qt packages for desktop. So if you see any issues with builds on Linux, please tell me. We've been seeing some weird spikes in peers on the ifprod fleet that runs status go. I'm not sure what it is, but they've been periodic every 24 hours. They have calmed down for the past week, but they looked like some kind of probing, either by a single person or an organization. It involved multiple hosts. I'm not sure what the purpose was. Maybe they were essentially measuring the scale of our fleet, but they were definitely checking something. We have a bunch of new fleets. We have the Fluffy fleet which is the new implementation of if1 client done by Nimbus team. We have Kiln testnet, which is a merge testnet for if1 and if2. We have an additional if1 client, which runs Open Ethereum, in addition to the Geth one we have. And I'm also probably going to be setting up an Erigon one, so we have more variety in terms of if1 clients that we use to sync for Nimbus mainnet. We also have a new, essentially, main status fleet running in Waku, which is going to be used in the next desktop release. And ultimately, it's going to replace the old status go running ifprod fleet. And it should be much more efficient and faster. In other news, we have a new contacts page, which has also been put behind OAuth. So we have more contact information, but also hidden it behind Google-based OAuth, so external people can see it. We have a source cred instance, which will be used by PeopleOps for essentially finding external contributors that might be worth talking to and possibly hiring. It's available at cred.status.im. And that's essentially it from all the major changes. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Jacob. That was really interesting to hear all your updates. Next up, we are going to hear from Juan David, who's going to give us an update from marketing and also from the community as well. So over to you, Juan David.
Thank you, Terry. Here, Juan David. So first of all, we have new listings of SNT in crypto.com and Coinbase. Thank you, Eduardo, for all the management of that relationship and partnership. On our special ambassador program, we got our 3 special ambassadors doing a great job, like Natalia. She helped me out with the hackathon that we host this weekend, Fork the System. It was done here in Bogota, and as you know, DevCon is going to take place here in Colombia, so we are building our community here. It was super successful in terms of growth for our social media Spanish accounts in Instagram and Twitter. We have grown by 50%. Our influencers, Alejandra and Lucio, did a great job promoting the event and also educating new people, onboarding them on NFTs. Next slides, please. On the community side, we did this event, was a great learning experience. We got 3 tech talks, remote mentors. Thank you, Frank, and all the Waku Connect team. To give you more context, the Waku team gave a $2,000 grant or bounty, $1,000 for the best use case of Waku and a pool price of $1,000. Also, we got road to DEFCON with 1,000 for layer 2 solutions. So there were we got a lot of learning with WACO and layer 2. We had 20% of hackers as participants. So we onboarded Web 2 developers into Web 3. Next slide, please. And as you can see, we had a lot of fun. We got this winning team. They were using the technology to improve the agricultural sector here in Colombia. So we awarded that uses cases for local communities. Once again, thank you, Frank, for all the support remotely. He was working with us during the weekend, so thank you so much. And the next stop will be Ethereum Medellin. We are planning that, so Status want to be really present and helping a lot the Ethereum Colombia community, which I'm part of. So the next edition of the hackathon will be in Medellin. So I will keep you posted. Thank you. Oh, and last but not least, Jinho did a great presentation regarding ambassadors. So 31 of them completed the task. We got new ambassador applications. As you can see, events were going in India, Burundi, Uganda, and the Philippines. Under the translation side, we got 3 contributors that translated different posts, and you can see all the updates and the campaign that we are running on translate.status.im. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Juan David, and thank you for your debut of joining the town hall for updates. And what an update that was. It sounds like you had lots of fun over the weekend. So thank you so much to yourself and to everyone who participated in those events. And that is it for the Status Town Hall this month. Thank you to all our community for tuning in and listening to our updates. We would love to hear any ideas or thoughts you have for the next Town Hall. You can put those in the Discord channel in Town Hall questions. The next Town Hall will be on the 11th of April 2022. So thanks again, everyone, for tuning in, and thanks to all our presenters today. Have a great day, everybody.